go ahead and open up a new Colab notebook and title it Functions Default Params. That's short for default parameters. We'll talk about what those are in just a moment. First, let's get a function up that gives the area of a circle. So write function gives area of circle. Okay, so recall how to do that. In these videos, sometimes I go pretty quickly. It can always be good if you take the lead on these, right? Because you can always pause the video if you need to catch up, or you can pause the video to even go ahead. Because you can say, okay, I think I'm getting the hang of functions. How would I write the area of a circle? And you can get ahead of me. So I would encourage you to do that because then you can see how we might do it a little differently and you'll learn more. Okay, so here we go. DEF is the keyword that you need to start. And then I like to say like area of circle so it's clear. Now, what do you need for the area of the circle? What you need is you need a radius, okay? And then put your colon, and we simply put, you can, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say what the area is. I'm not gonna return it. I'm gonna say area equals, well, it's the radius, it's pi r squared, right? And so what's pi? And that's sort of the interesting question here. And so there are different ways you can do it. And so maybe in this one, I'll just start pi is 3.14 times the radius squared, okay? And by order of operations, it will square the radius first because as you hopefully remember, Python follows the order of operations. So you don't need parentheses here. You're just gonna return then the area. Okay, this is an error that comes up a lot if you're working with me. So let's just go over it again. I like showing you all the live errors. I think it's useful. Just click on Manage Sessions. And so I haven't properly closed notebooks. Unfortunately, when you X them out, they do not properly close. So you can just delete them all as such and then close. Okay, now try to run this again. And we're going to call it. And again, call this using something that hopefully you know what the area of the circle should be, which is tough because of the 3.14. But you could have a radius of 1. And then if I press Shift Enter, you do get 3.14, which is the expected result. Now, I want to add a default parameter. Okay, so inside of a function, these are actually called the parameters of the function. And a default parameter would be as follows. Pi. How do I define pi? By default, I can assign it the value of 3.14. Okay, and so now, inside of the function, I don't write 3.14, I actually write pi, okay? And so this is kind of cool. You can define values inside of your functions. And the idea now of a default parameter is that the default, meaning the norm, unless you change it, is that pi is going to be 3.14, okay? So now when I press Shift Enter and I run the code with the radius of 1, I still get the expected value of 3.14, okay? Now, if I type in area of circle, you can see it's showing the definition and it's showing the default parameter, okay? So let's look at now how to change a default parameter. You still need the same radius. Let's go beyond 1. Let's try 2. And now maybe I want pi to be, well, I know, for instance, 3.1415926. Okay, I think that's right. And so, I could add more digits here, press Shift Enter. Okay, and you get this. Now, the NumPy library gives Python's best sort of approximation of pi. And so you could do that. You could do, okay, I'm going to import NumPy as in P. Okay, that brings us the NumPy library. And now np.py is in there. Okay, and so now what you can do, you can call the area of the circle. Let's just keep it with 2 so we can compare it. And we'll set pi equal to np.py. Okay, so what's going on here? Let's talk about this. We can assign pi to any value. And so np.py, what's going on? Well, what that is, that goes to the NumPy library, np, that's NumPy, and it's stored in there. Okay, this is Python's best value of pi. if you want to see what it is, which could be nice, just call it out. Now, okay, there's something about the order of code here. So I haven't run NPy as NP. So you need that, okay, to be able to show what np.py is. Okay, and so there you can see you get a lot of decimal places. You don't need to do that, but that's just showing you if you wanted to see it as is. And then you get, it looks like the same number of decimal places, which is to be expected in the area of your circle. So this is pretty cool. This is how to use default parameters to change the output of your function. And in case you are wondering, which some of the math savvy people might be, what if you wanted to just use pi, right? Like the word pi or the symbol for pi. Well, to do that, we actually need to introduce the topic of the next unit, which is strings. And so we'll see how to do that in a future lesson.